Court Uncut, what the people want.
All right, State of Michigan versus Elizabeth Wellington. It's file 25-43920-FY, set for sentencing. I do see Ms. Wellington. Mr. Dick?
James Dick on behalf of Ms. Wellington, Your Honor.
All right, this is the date and time set for sentencing today. So that there was a plea to domestic violence second offense, which is a 1 year and/or $1,000 misdemeanor. And we adjourned for sentencing to allow the victim to make an impact statement. Ms. Brucker, are you aware of an impact statement for today?
Darwin Gaines was on the Zoom earlier. I don't know if he's still on there. I can't tell from being in the courtroom.
I do see Mr. Gaines is with us. Mr. Gaines, you are listed as the potential victim in this case. Is there anything that you want me to be aware of prior to me imposing sentence?
Just the fact that, you know, she struggles with mental health, as I had kind of said before. You know, she is a small business owner, you know, and a jail sentence would greatly impact that business she has. So I was asked that you maybe have like a tailored sentencing more to like approach her mental health diagnosis.
All right. Is there anything else that you want me to be aware of?
No, there's not.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate that information. Ms. Brucker, anything else that you want to add?
I would just note for the courts, she has a pretty rough background in terms of domestic violence. She has several domestic violence convictions and a prior child abuse conviction. Frankly, I really didn't want to reduce this from the felony, but I was convinced based on some conversations Mr. Dick and I had and some input from Mr. Gaines about some of her mental health issues that she's struggling with, and I'll leave that to Mr. Dick to speak to. In some of the prior cases, in addition to mental health, it was alcohol would be a factor in those cases, and it was tangentially a factor in this case. So I would ask the court to place her on probation. I would also ask the court to consider giving her some jail up front, or at a minimum holding some jail over her head, just given her history involving assault offenses.
All right, Mr. Dick.
Yeah. Okay. Your Honor, so Ms. Wellington, as mentioned, she has been struggling with mental health issues. She is actively engaged in counseling therapy. She is regularly seeing a counselor, specifically, Janet Thayer. She is on taking her medication as directed. She also, mental health very often goes along with other potential like substance abuse issues and such. Here, to be proactive and prevent any potential issues with alcohol, which incidents that did involve substances generally were alcohol related. In the past, she had obtained the Vivitrol shot, I believe, the second week of October. As her husband, or sorry, as Mr. Gaines mentioned, she is self-employed. She's a tattoo artist. She does struggle to be like a good significant other, a good parent, and she works hard towards doing that. She recently faced the loss of her brother, an incident that was brought up to the court by Mr. Gaines at the, I believe, September 22nd hearing. At that hearing, Mr. Gaines had also requested to lift the no contact order. However, of course, that's going to be somewhere in the discretion of the court and with prosecution agreement or perhaps probation, whenever that happens. That being said, Your Honor, she does have, and will admit that she has the history as mentioned by Ms. Bruker. Well, she does not deny any of the issues that she's had or dealt with. We are asking that the court allow her to continue her mental health treatment. And I believe the court was aware of an incident during the bond violation arrest with her in the jail. I don't know that I need to discuss that again,
You.
but was the did the judge, was he briefed on it?
I'm not sure. 'Cause
I don't believe so.
I'm not sure I'm aware of.
Okay, well, Your Honor, there was a mental health related episode while in custody during that time that do you recall? Pardon?
I see that on here.
Okay, and it would be, we would ask, in order to try to avoid any potential incidents like that, that she be able to remain in therapy and continue with her medication through her present therapist and remain not in custody, not in jail. And if the court were going to require some sort of a more harsh punishment, we would ask that the court perhaps sanction something such as like extra work camp or something that she could pay back to the community, as this does all seem to be mental health related, not intentional, not with criminal intent to commit these acts. Based on that, Your Honor, we would ask that the court also perhaps considers reducing fines and costs in this matter, as she has not been living at home. She's been having to pay for things with and try to keep her business going.
All right, thank you, Mr. Jacob. Ms. Wellington, this is your opportunity to tell me what you think I need to know about you and about what you want to have happen before I impose a sentence.
Okay, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak. So, okay.
It's all right, take a deep breath and relax a little bit.
I do, okay. Okay. Sorry. Just, okay. It does give me a moment to accept accountability for my actions. There's been a lot of things that I've realized. I do realize in that moment there were plenty of different options and routes I could take to help de-escalate the situation and not add to it. And that's what I in turn did, was add to it. I let my anger control my reaction. I let my feelings boil up inside and explode rather than trying to resolve the situation. And I have been working on a lot of things to help not allow that situation to happen again. And as mentioned, I have dealt with a lot of mental health issues, and not any more than anyone else either. And these are things that I've worked through and I will continue to work through. And as mentioned, I did lose my brother at the end of May, and it was to suicide. And I did a lot of things to get my mind off things. I didn't allow myself to deal with that grief. I even offered an event to the community for free semicolon tattoos to help encourage others to continue their story and spread awareness for, mental health and suicide prevention. And, you know, I did almost 100 free tattoos for Gaylord, and I didn't, though, allow myself to grieve. And I stopped going to therapy not long after he passed. And I ignored warning signs leading up to that. And since then, I have started therapy. I have been doing weekly counseling with my primary therapist, Jeanette Sayer. And I've also attend a secondary counseling service where I am also tested, and I've been passing urine tests. And I have been prescribed medication as the attorney has explained, and I have also maintained taking my medication, that I admit that that was another thing I let kind of fall off, with my mood stabilizer and SSRI after, you know, not dealing with my feelings. It's easy to neglect other things, and medication is something that's easily neglected. So these are some of the things I'm doing. I've also taken steps to address my alcohol issue as well. I do know it's a very serious and dangerous problem. I do know it doesn't matter that it's not something I do every day, because when I choose to do it, it's too much. And I do know one day, like, it's gonna be deadly, and I don't want to do it, and it's not something I enjoy doing. And it's a sad thing. I'm alone. I'm upset. I'm broken. It's a point where I've completely given up, and I don't want to give up. So that's why I think, like, you know, as bad as this situation is, it's a silver lining in a way, because I got to do this. So I have been completing daily breathalyzers and passing those. I've taken the medication. I've maintained the positive relationship with CPS, and I've been compliant with them and their requests. And I do realize, like, there has to be consequences, and there's got to be a punishment, and it is necessary. And the biggest thing for me, and my biggest fear and concern, is jail time, because I do have children. I've been away from my children. We're approaching the holiday season, and there's nothing more that I want than to just be home with them, or to at least not have this hinder our relationship as much as it's had. And, you know, my son's birthday's on December 11th, so that's, you know, something that he would be disappointed in me more so than he is already if I weren't there. And I do own and solely operate a business in Gaylord, and it's something that I've worked extremely hard on, and I've poured myself into, and the jail time could severely impact that and me financially. So I just hope all these things could be taken into consideration. And I do also want to point out, I do realize I have a past, and it's crazy because of how fast, if you look at the dates on those charges, and like it all happened and just turned so fast, and I thought I was out of it. So that's what's frustrating too. So this is a wake-up call, because I thought I'd never be right here again in this spot. So I do realize, looking on paper and seeing the history, how you're seeing it and how the prosecutor sees it, and I am at your mercy. I'm at the court's mercy. So I just hope you take all that into consideration, and thank you for giving me a moment to talk.
Well, thank you, Ms. Wellington. I appreciate what your thoughts are, and I thought you did a very nice job of summarizing where your circumstances have led you. It seems to me that you are a very talented person if you're able to operate your own tattoo business. It seems to me that you have a heart for our community if you're able to give away 100 free tattoos in order to raise awareness for suicide prevention. I think those are two very, very positive things that you have going for you. It seems to me that you have an understanding of your circumstances and the need for continued treatment. Mental health is no different than physical health in that it requires constant upkeep. You have to keep feeding yourself well and getting enough sleep and going to the doctor when something hurts physically. You need to continue to do those same kinds of things for your mental health, whether that means medication, whether that means counseling, whether that means positive attitude. All of those things go together to make sure that your mental health is in the same good position that your physical health is. And it's not something that you get over. It's like your physical health. You have to keep eating every day. You have to keep good rest periods every day. You have to take care of yourself. You can't go too many days without having some kind of exercise, or your body starts to break down. So it's not something that goes away. It's just something that is what makes you unique and individual. And that's going to be a lifelong thing that you're going to have to work on. And you see that now. Unfortunately for you, there is a history, and that's what you alluded to at the end, where you talked about your history. This is now the fourth domestic violence incident. If you add in the child abuse charge that you had in Gaylord recently and back in July of 24, it's the fifth violence-related criminal charge that you've had. And at some point, a judge has to look at that and say, she's just not getting it. She's not understanding what she needs to do, and she's not taking it seriously. And I believe that today you are taking it seriously. But it's apparent to me that over time that fades from your view, and you let your emotions and your belief that you can handle it without your medications get the best of you. And there's only a limited amount of things that I can do to try to get your attention. So that's one part of my viewpoint. The other part of my viewpoint is, if you're not out on the street, you're not punching people, and you're not hitting people, and you're not hurting people. And so I have to be aware, even though some of those people, like Mr. Gaines, don't necessarily want you in jail because of it. But I have to say, well, maybe next time it's not Mr. Gaines in the way, it's somebody else. It's your kids, or it's another person that meets you on a bad day out on the sidewalk. And I've got to have something to be able to say to you, you can't do that. And as a community, we can't accept that kind of behavior. And in this particular case, I believe that you did this in your own home where your kids are. And that's unacceptable as well. So even if Mr. Gaines is saying, I don't think she deserves to go to jail for this particular incident, this isn't an incident in a void, right? It's a track record. And I think you would be, if you were looking at this for somebody else that wasn't you, you'd be saying, hey, at some point you've got to learn, and the judge has got to give you something strong to say, you didn't learn it last time, we're going to increase the penalty this time. All right. If there weren't this mental health aspect of this case, and if I believed that you were just a mean and violent person, the sentence that I would give you would be somewhere between 6 months and a year in jail, because I would be more apt to say that this is just an attitude issue. With your mental health issues that you do have, and your attempts at being in counseling and trying to do the right thing, I don't think that that is completely true of you. I don't think that this is just you being mean and not caring. I think there is some aspect to this case that has to do with mental health and your ability to control your feelings. But I don't think that that's the lone excuse for all this. I think that you have allowed yourself to not take your medication. And you know what happens when you don't. You've done it 5 times in a row now since 2018. And it's getting faster. You got your last DV, domestic violence, in 21. You got your child abuse charge in 24, and here we are back again in 25 with another domestic violence case. So you know what happens when you go off your medications and you're not doing your counseling on a regular basis. You get into these moods where it's hard for you to control yourself. And then you let the emotions build up, and things that normally wouldn't set you off, and you react violently. So I've got to do something that reminds you that every time you do that, there's going to be a serious consequence. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put you in jail for 6 months, but I'm going to give you the opportunity to get out after 90 days. So you're going to be in for 90 days. And then you're going to be able to get out on the work camp program. And you're going to do that for another 3 months. Okay. Now let me think about that for a second. I'm going to put you in for 3. Hang on. This is my time. Yeah, I gave you your time. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna put you in for 3 months for 90 days, and then 3 months on work camp after that. That's 6 months total. During that period of time, I'm sure that you're gonna have time to think about this. Is that gonna have a huge impact on your kids and on your work? Yes. But I've got to stop this now before you either hurt somebody else or you hurt yourself very seriously. It may be the next time that the person doesn't just take it, they punch you back. And I don't want to see you hurt or anybody else hurt. So my sentence is going to be 6 months total, 3 months up front of jail, followed by 3 months of work camp. You're going to be on probation for a year. There's a crime victim fee of $75, a justice assessment of $50. There isn't any restitution request, is there, Ms. Bruker?
No, you're on.
Court costs of $100, a fine of $50, a local charge of $15. So I've reduced that as much as I can for you there. Dollar amounts are, let me add that up for you. $290, you can pay that over the course of your probation.
Probation fee.
Sorry, thank you. $360 in probation oversight fees. That's a total of $650. You may perform community service work in lieu of fines and costs at the discretion of the probation department. You must enroll in and successfully complete or continue to be enrolled in mental health treatment and follow all recommendations. No consumption of alcohol or controlled substances except as prescribed. No entrance into a business where alcohol is served by the glass. That means no bars.
Oh my.
Drug and alcohol testing at your discretion of the probation department. When do you want to report to the county jail, ma'am?
Could I, I'm not, when do you usually have us, like Friday, or can I have longer? I have over a month and a half appointments to cancel. And I'll have to figure out my business in general. I don't know. The work, I have one question. So there's 3 months you said, and then 3 months work release or work crew or,
Work camp,
okay.
which
What does-
means that you'd have to report at about 7 a.m. and you'd be off by 3 or 4 p.m. You'd be able to go to your job and work in the afternoons and the evenings.
And then I'd go back to jail?
No, you report in the
Sorry.
morning and then you go home at night, but you have to report to the work camp in the morning and do whatever they have designed to do that day.
Would a week be asking too long, or, I
How
mean,
about if how about if I give you till Monday? That gives you Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to make your phone calls or do whatever you need to do for your business. And you can report, I'll give you Monday at 5 p.m. How's that?
that's perfect, Your Honor.
All right. So you're going to report November the 17th at 5 p.m. at the county jail. If you don't do that, there'll be a bench warrant for your arrest and you'll be picked up whenever you're found. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
You have any questions for me?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Dick, anything?
Yes, Your Honor. The only thing that I would ask if the court would consider is because of her extensive like mental health therapy and the issues that she's had, would the court permit her to, I don't know exactly how how it would necessarily work, but to attend her therapy sessions still with her counselor, just to make sure that she's not falling behind in this, because as she did mention during her portion of the allocution, she had let things slide, and that's ultimately what a contributing factor to what put her in the position she is at present.
I have no objection to you attempting to work out a Zoom counseling session process with the jail. And if that's not available or not, I would consider, or at least consider some sort of motion to have that heard. I don't know if the jail has such ability. I do know that some jails have Chromebooks that they use that might be available for that. I don't know if we have that here. And that might mean that she might have to use her own, and I don't know what they're going to allow into the jail or not. So, but I'd be willing to at least have you address that with the jail and then come back before me on a motion of some kind to say, hey, Judge, would you make a ruling?
Sure, thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. Rooker, anything else?
No, Your Honor.
All right, that's all for today. Thank you, Ms. Wellington. Good luck to you. I hope things go better for you.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button for more crazy court hearings like this one.